Study done by Reuters shows a surprising number of Americans think that their state should leave the United States. Take a look at this. The Southeast, 25% there. That's where Congressman Diane Black is from. She represents the 6th Congressional District of Tennessee. The Journal's John Hilsenrath with me as well. Congresswoman, good to see you. So much for joining us.
It's great to be here with you this morning.
So what do you feel about this sort of groundswell going on, this anti-establishment? Does it worry you?
Well, it worries me in as much as I represent real people. And when I'm back in my district, I hear this consistently as I do town halls across my 19 counties. People are very discouraged with the government and the fact that we see stagnant wages, we see rising costs in health care, rising costs in energy prices, and they want to know, what are you doing about it in Washington to help us out at a very real level, and that is living their everyday life.
And yet, both sides can't seem to agree on anything. Has it ever been as bad as it is right now, whereas the two sides, I mean, there used to be some common ground. There was a camaraderie that you would get together with your colleagues on the other side, right? You'd have dinner and drinks or whatever it is. You're not talking to anybody.
Well, I think there's a little misconception on this because as the people look at this from both sides, from just saying generally the Congress is not working together, what we see in the House is we have almost 400 bills that are pro-growth bills that really could get this economy moving, getting people back to work, helping them in their everyday lives. And yet those bills are passed bipartisanly in the House. 98% of the bills that are sitting on Harry Reid's desk waiting to just be discussed. And that's what's so frustrating to us in the House, is that we've done our work. We want to have conversation. We really want Harry Reid to allow these to at least come to the floor for discussion. And we can have differences of opinion and amend them. Obviously, sometimes you have to negotiate a little bit here or there. You can't get everything you want in any walk of your life, whether it's in your marriage, your home, or your work, or even in your church. You can't get everything you want. But at least we should have a conversation. And pro-growth tax reform, we worked for 4 years on a draft copy that is just going nowhere, not even being discussed in the Senate. These are things that could get America moving, and it's very frustrating for us in the House when we've done our work.
So Congressman, it looks like the Republicans are going to get the Senate for these November elections. They're up in so many different states. What's going to change? What can the American people expect to see happening differently with Republicans controlling the House and the Senate with President Obama in the final 2 years of his term?
You make a very good point. There is a great opportunity, and we're seeing the wave move closer toward making sure that we do get that majority over there so we can get things going. I don't want the American people to think it's a panacea that if we did take over the Senate, because we're still not going to have a supermajority where you can get the 60 votes to bring anything to the floor. But I think here's where the rubber meets the road. If we are passing bills bipartisan in the House, they go to the Senate, and I'll just take the Keystone Pipeline that already has bipartisan support, or the medical device tax has bipartisan support, and it's passed in both the House and the Senate. I think the president has a hard time vetoing everything.
How about corporate tax reform? That's something everybody says we need to do. Is that going to get done in the next congressional term?
Well, you know, in the House of Representatives, we did do a reform of both the corporate side and also the individual side. And why that is so important is 85% of the small businesses work their taxes under the individual side. And we just felt that it was only fair if you did something for big business in the reform that you also did that for small business. But it's there. It's ready for discussion. It may not be perfect. We still may have some things to do. But you're right. Corporate tax reform is something that also is a bipartisan issue, along with a number of other issues as well.
Is there more of an incentive for the president to veto now, or was there more of an incentive when Harry Reid is there to just let Harry Reid deal with everything?
Well, I think that is a part of what they've done, is they've made this little deal, and I don't sit in the room listening to that, but I can certainly figure that out, that if their mantra is there's a do-nothing Congress, the only way that we can have a do-nothing Congress is if the House is working and the Senate isn't, you can say it's a do-nothing Congress, and unless you let the American people know what you're being doing, what's on in the House, they'll assume that it really is a do-nothing Congress. And so we need to get that logjam broken there, actually get some real conversation going on, and having the American people let their congressmen know what they want, let their senators know.
But many of the things that John mentioned, I mean, you know, you have so much support even from the American people.
Yes.
When you say you've got all these bills sitting on Harry Reid's desk, I mean, why? What is the answer that you're given in terms of, why these things are not moving forward? Is it an ideology or is it something else?
I believe it's political. I believe that they wanted to have a statement that it's a do-nothing Congress so the American people could be angry with all of us. And so if they didn't bring anything up, then if the American people don't know what work is truly being done and you say it over and over again, it's what's believed. And that's the reason why it's so important for us to get the message out that we are working. But I think it's a political game that they play of don't bring anything up, we'll control it over here with Harry Reid, don't put the president in a bad spot because you don't put anything on his desk that's bipartisan, and therefore he really doesn't take the hit for vetoing something that the American people want.
So you think things will get accomplished if, in fact, the GOP takes the Senate and keeps the House?
I think it will break the logjam, and I think the conversation and the debate will then come about, and I think the American people can then weigh in with their congressmen and their senators about what they want.
Congressman Black, good to have you on the program today.
It's great to be with you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time today. Representative Diane Black from Tennessee. John Hilsenrath, sticks